my name is Taryn with Sowing the City. Welcome back to my channel. So today you can see that I'm inside of my house as opposed to being out in the garden, and that's because today's video is going to be a recipe video. I'm basically going to make this stir-fry type of dish only using ingredients that I grew in my garden last summer, okay? So believe it or not, I still have a few things in my freezer from last summer that I haven't used yet. So we're going to use them. Let's get started. So I'm starting by simply taking out my produce from my deep freezer, and I have frozen a lot of the produce that I harvested from last summer, and so I still have some left over. Now is the time for me to start using all of it because I'm about to start harvesting more produce. So as you can see here, I'm starting by showing you my yellow squash. I had more than that, but I've used a lot of it. And then you can see I also had zucchini squash. And again, I had more of that, but I used a lot of it. So that's what I have left. And then I also have a few jalapeno peppers. I have a lot of those. And I also have some carrots. It's a mix of purple carrots and like orange yellow carrots. And my purple sweet potatoes, I have a lot. Now I'm going to let my produce defrost so that I can make sure that they aren't frozen when I start to cook them. And like I said, I kept them in the deep freezer, so they are pre-frozen. Now I'm making the sauce, and I started by putting some veggie broth in this cup or in this bowl. I'm also using some fresh black pepper, a little bit of parsley, some cayenne pepper, and some all-purpose seasoning. So now we're going to coat everything and let it marinate. In the meantime, I'm going to get out my parchment paper that I'm going to use. So after the veggies are done marinating, you're going to make sure you lay them out evenly on the parchment paper. Now I use parchment paper because it helps to make sure that nothing sticks to the actual pan in which you're going to use to bake it in. But you can use whatever you want. And again, make sure everything is evenly laid out. So now I'm going to cook my veggies at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Now, before I had cooked them at 400 degrees, but you know, that was a little too warm, so 350 is good for me. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to prepare my quinoa. I already added some quinoa to this bowl. Now I'm going to soak it in some water. Just cover it up with water. While the quinoa is soaking, we can get the veggies out of the oven. And this is how they look. They look so delicious. The squash and the carrots look really good, and so does everything else. So after I soak my quinoa, I actually added to the pot with no liquid, and I just let it cook down for a little bit. Like, I don't add the liquid until after the quinoa starts to pop, and then I'll add just enough liquid to cover the quinoa up. I cook my quinoa in a kind of a different way than other people do, so I might make an entire video showing how I cook my quinoa in a separate clip, but right now I'm just giving you like a brief overview. But it tastes so good when you cook it this way because it cooks thoroughly, and it helps the quinoa to get fluffy. So now it's time to actually plate the food. I'm so excited. It's such a great feeling when you get to cook the food that you grew in your own garden. And like I said, I grew all of the squash, the yellow squash, the zucchini squash, the carrots, the sweet potatoes, everything. It was just so awesome, and it's a great feeling. And yes, the produce tastes way better when you grow it yourself. There's no comparison. Now, of course, I didn't grow the quinoa. However, the quinoa was added to this meal because I wanted to make sure that I had a healthy protein source for this meal. Now, as a plant-based eater, it's so important that I get my plant-based sources of protein from a whole food source. And in this meal, it is quinoa. Okay, y'all, so I've officially finished making my dinner. I'll call it my garden to plate healthy plant-based dinner. And you can see I just have my roasted carrots and zucchini over here. I have my purple sweet potatoes that I also roasted right there. And then this is my quinoa. This is just my simple quinoa that I make. It's really simple to make. I might do a separate video on that. But yeah, that's it. Okay, y'all, that's the video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also share this video. I would greatly appreciate it if you did. And don't forget, no matter what you're going through, no matter how stressful your day is, remember, just keep sewing, okay? Bye.